Thanks to Mayor Sheehan and her administration, the City of Albany is now the strongest supporter of apprentice training programs in the state, maybe the country. Her vision will benefit the hard-working men and women of this community for years to come. As president of the Carpenters Local 291, I'm proud to stand before you today and announce our endorsement for Mayor Kathy Sheehan for the mayor of the City of Albany.
Good afternoon. My name is Antonella Petchel. I'm the Upstate Political and Community Director with New York State Nurses Association. And today I'm here representing 40,000 nurses that we represent across the state. One of the largest union nurses for nurses in New York. We are proud to stand here today to endorse Kathy Sheehan for her re-election as the mayor of Albany. We are seeing so much growth in the city of Albany. There's construction going on, and infrastructure improvements, and all sorts of jobs are coming in the city of Albany. But here's my favorite. She is a daughter of a nurse. Kathy is always fighting for health care for everyone. She stood up against any repeal or replacement of the ACA that would have caused millions of Americans to lose health care coverage. And it's a battle that we know to wage now more than ever with everything going on in Washington, D.C. And local government is more important now than ever. And a big shout out, she's a big supporter of safe staffing legislation for our patients and for our nurses, because she understands how important it is to have quality care and not just care.
As the Executive Vice President of Local 1118 Communication Workers of America, we're proud to endorse the mayor. We endorsed her last election cycle and her re-election campaign. We can't thank her enough for the guidance and leadership that she's given the city. I got a unique perspective of bargaining contracts with the city. We have a small sector of our organization that is public, but most of it is private. So before the mayor took office, we had a contract that was open for over 5 years with the city. After her leadership and her direction and her support, we were able to close that contract and get a fair contract for our members, one that was reflective to the needs of the city, but also valued the contributions that they make to the city every day with their parking enforcement. Currently, we're in bargaining now, and it looks like we're not going to have an open contract based on the mayor's leadership, and we appreciate that. Thank you. The other thing that's been so critical in the direction and the leadership that she's given us was the support on the Verizon picket lines when we struck Verizon, when they were trying to outsource over 300 jobs out of the building at 158 State Street. The first day, the very first day that we were on the streets, the mayor was there offering her support. But it didn't stop there. It didn't stop with the photo ops on the picket lines. It didn't stop in Albany. It went down to Momentive with our brothers from the Momentive. In Waterford, New York was on strike for over 100 days. She was walking those picket lines in the dead of winter, and her support and the fact that she was down there talking to those workers was resounding. But it didn't stop there. She wrote a letter to Verizon incentivizing them and going after them for not putting FiOS in this city, for not investing in an economic infrastructure that supports education and closes that digital divide that we're seeing in the communities in upstate New York. She wrote a letter to that and spoke very, very directly to the executive of Verizon. But then what did she do? She went and testified to the Public Service Commission and spoke to them about the fact of the copper plant and the infrastructure that's degrading in the city. So it doesn't end with just those simple things. It's a combination of all of them, and we can't be more proud to endorse her again. And best of luck, Kathy.
A budget that had a significant deficit in it and then also spent the rest of our rainy day fund. And we worked hard over the last 3.5 years to get our financial house in order, because my #1 goal was getting raises to our hard-working employees who deserved raises. And I'm proud of the fact that we've been able to settle 9 contracts, that we've recognized 3 new unions under my leadership, and that we will continue that fight, and that we will continue to seek to ensure that our employees have the ability to grow in their jobs, to earn the raises that they deserve, and to have good benefits for themselves and for their families. That takes leadership. It takes the ability to fight on behalf of our residents and to fight on behalf of our employees. That's why I fought so hard to get $12.5 million of new money from the state, because the state treats Albany unfairly, and that means they're treating our employees unfairly. That means that they're treating hard-working families unfairly. And labor stood with me as we made that case and was part of the reason that we were successful. So I appreciate labor, I thank labor, and you know, I pulled this out today. I know the plumbers are in the house. My grandfather was a member of the Pipe Fitters Local 597 in Chicago. And when my father passed away, I was looking through his things, and tucked away in my father's papers was this gold card that my grandfather received in recognition of 50 years of continuous membership. And it was a source of pride for my grandfather, it was a source of pride for my father, and it's a source of pride for me. So thank you to labor for being here, and thank you for being a great partner to the city of Albany. Thank you.